Hi, I was needing some help with a dream I had, and I was hoping you could help me. Last night I dreamt that um, I was staying in my mother's house. It was a very big house. Normally, she does have a very big house. Um, and I was staying in a guest room along with my daughter, and we were asleep. And in the dream, I woke up. I think I was just restless, and so I went outside of the bedroom, and when I opened the bedroom door, um, one of my cats was there, and I had to hurry to not let her into the bedroom to wake my daughter. And then I shut the door quickly and walked down the hall. I went up the stairs to the first landing and noticed that all of the lights upstairs looked like they were on. And I thought to myself, surely I did not leave all those lights on. I'm pretty sure I remember shutting all those lights off. And then I heard some voices, and I go up the stairs to the next level, and the door to the great room is open. And so I walk over to the great room where the door is open and all the voices are coming from. And there's all of my family members watching a presentation. There's like a big screen on the wall, and my family members are watching a presentation. And I say to them, why on earth are you having a meeting at 3 a.m.? I mean, why would you do it at 3 a.m.? And I don't know who replied to me, but what they did reply to me and say, well, just like you were the only one that didn't get into Amway, you were the only one that's not into this. And I took that to mean in my dream a secret society, Freemasons, Illuminati, or the like. And what did I answer? I don't think I answered that. And as I stood in the doorway, there was a small man to my right, and um, uh, I did not recognize him, and he said, "Are you gonna make us hire another hitman to kill you?" And I answered back, and I said, "Well, I guess so, 'cause I ain't going quietly." And then I kind of stunned and shocked, and I turn around and go out of the room, and the next thing I know, I'm on the stairs. I'm sitting on those stairs on the lower part, the lower half, and trying to figure out what I'm going to do. If we should pack, if we should leave. I'm just kind of stunned. And as I'm sitting there, my father has passed away. He passed away several years ago. But my father comes down and sits next to me on the stairs, and he said, "Well, we really didn't want it to come to this. We wished it hadn't." That's what it was. "We wished it hadn't come to this." And I said back to him, "Well, it should have never come to this." And then I had a knowing in my dream that they were going to try and kill me right then. So I got up, and when I got up, I think it was that same little guy that made the comment before came down the stairs and came after me. At this point, I kind of react like a real warrior instead of an old lady like I am. And I grabbed this guy by the throat like this, and like forcibly, and then twist it, and I kill him. And then I think it's my younger brother comes after me. This was unclear who this person was, but I thought it was my younger brother. Comes after me as well, and now I'm at the bottom of the stairs. I jump up, I throw myself against the wall and use it almost like a trampoline to bounce off of. And I'm not sure if I used my legs or my arms, but I broke his neck. and so that I killed both of those people that came after me. At this point, I go down the hall and I'm yelling for my daughter and one of my sons, and I go in my bedroom that I was staying in. I do not see my daughter, and so as I realize she's not there, my older brother, um, Jeff, comes behind me and attempts to attack me. And I'm just so agile that I outmaneuvered him and I ran past him down the hall the opposite direction of the stairs. But in so doing, he followed me and basically cornered me at the end of the hallway. This was a very wide hallway. And as I'm crouched down, I'm looking up at him, and he looks exactly like he did in high school. And he draws his fist back, and he says, "Are you ready for this?" And I reply, "No, I'm not ready for this." And again, I'm thinking that I can't get out of there, but I'm very agile, and I like crawl and get out and run back to the bedroom that I was staying in. I get in the top drawer of the side table and grab my gun, and I prepare to shoot my brother. And I go to try to cock the gun, and it won't cock. So I'm thinking to myself several things simultaneously. I'm still hollering for my daughter and my son. And I'm thinking, should I tell them to put shoes on? Or should we just grab the keys and go get in the car? Or should we try to pack up some of our stuff? Or should we just go get in the car? It's cold. And then I'm picturing my third child walking outside with no shoes on in the cold, and I'm thinking that's a bad idea. At the same time, I'm thinking if I try to look at the safety and make sure it's off, and make sure that the bullets are in correctly, that I might miss Jeff walking in the room and he may overtake me. And at this point, I pray and ask for the gun to work correctly. And then I wake up. Now, immediately from waking from this dream, I am reminded of a dream I had when I was 10 or 11 years old. I do not have a very great memory. So to remember something like this, it is one thing in my childhood I've never ever been able to forget, though there's large parts of my childhood I don't remember. There's large parts of my adult life I don't remember. If somebody talks to me about something that happened, I usually will be able to remember it. So this dream I had when I was 10 or 11, I could have sworn I was awake. I would have sworn that I was awake. But I don't think I could have been awake because as I think back on the dream, I was lying in bed, and I saw the shadow. First, I saw just a shadow of my family member's robe coming down the hall, and it had a knife in its hand, only there was no body in it. It was the robe. So when I say it had a knife in the hand, it would be where the hand would be. And the reason that I think that I must have been dreaming it is because I not only saw the shadow of the robe, but I also saw the robe going from one end of the hall down to the other end of the hall where my bedroom was. So I wouldn't have been able to see that from my bed. So I must have been asleep. It just must have been, it was incredibly real. So I remember 4 robes of my family members, my older brother, one of my older sisters, my mother and my father, all their robes coming down the hall with a knife in their hands. But they did it individually. It wasn't a group. And I remember just being absolutely terrified. I was so terrified that it took me a long time to calm down and feel safe enough to run upstairs to my parents' room. Um, when I did run upstairs to my parents' room, the door was locked, and I banged on it wildly. And then I think I also I know I did. There we used to have these little keys above the doors that you could stick in and unlock the door, and I'm sure that I did do that. Stick the key in and unlock the door and go in. Um, and they were not happy about me in there and sent me back to my bedroom as far as I can recall. So, um, I'm trying to figure out what to do with this dream. I know that most dreams are symbolic and not literal, so, you know, the hitman probably wasn't hired, but it could have been some kind of demonic force. I do know that recently um, there seemed to be a greater attack against my finances. And in my home, like I've had the foundation worked on three different times since 2013, I think it was. Recently, I had all of the boat arc stumps that were the foundation of the house removed and put blocks and pad and block under there. But they did not level it, and I cannot get the man to come back and level it. So that it's not really much better than when the bone arc stumps were there. The back end is still sinking down like before they came, and the front porch is still kind of roller coaster-ish, and those were specifically what I had asked for. So, I mean, it's just everything that I keep trying to do to this house from 1901. I mean, it's old house. It's beat up. Um, I just have to keep redoing the same things over and over again, and I'm not getting anywhere. And so I had just, before this dream, few days before this dream, I had asked the Lord to move us out of this house if He could not bless us in this house. Um, if possible, bless us in this house, but if you can't bless us in this house, to move us out. And upon having this dream, and some other dreams that I've had, I'm wondering if He's going to move us out. I don't know how. I do not have the finances to move out. I wouldn't be in a crummy, beat up house if I had finances to move out. Um, uh, so I don't know what to do. I feel I need Yahweh to move me to a place of safety, me and my children, that my family does not know where we live. My family does live in another state. One other thing is that recently I was asking Yahweh who has been cursing me, and I've seen my older brother Jeff in a few dreams, flash dreams type thing, when I ask. And then I know that again yesterday I was asking him to show me who else was involved in my cursing, and then I did have that dream. So it could be like an answer to that. I'm not sure. I know that if I move, I do not want to let my family know where I'm going. Um, the clearest things I've ever heard Yahweh say to me was one time was when I was 17. Through Scripture, He told me to move away from my family. Just like Abraham had to move away from his family. And what I can tell you is, even in high school, especially in high school, um, I would see demonic forces at the foot of my bed, and it would often scare me. And whenever I would go to my parents' room, my mother would tell me that I know how to fight spiritually, that I should tell it to leave and that kind of thing. I had already tried that. Before, I would always try that before I would resort to going in their room. But I was not able to get authority. My authority would not work at my parents' home. But when at 17 I left and went to Bible school, and I never, ever had another demonic force visit me like that again, nor have I ever been powerless over a demonic force again since I left my my parents' home. So that's a little interesting. Um, Again, in high school, when I would be tormented like that, after a couple of times, I stopped going to my folks' room because I knew they weren't going to help me. And I would run to my little brother's room, and he would allow me to uh, sleep with him with the closet light on so that I would not be alone. That he was my younger brother, and he didn't really like it, but he was kind enough to do that for me. So anyway, as you can probably tell by my face, I'm really troubled by this. So I was wondering if you could pray on it and let me know anything that the Holy Spirit might reveal to you about how I should proceed. Okay, thanks.